Preceding announcement furnished to the public service by the National Football League. The Seattle Seahawks, third year in their history, leading the Denver Broncos. They beat Oakland last week. Quite a story going on in there at halftime. And there's another story on this field. Jim Zorn and his team have led the NFL in passing this year, averaging 217 yards a game, and Denver probably shut their passing down the best of any team so far this year.
That may be, but I'd say when an expansion team is playing against the best defense in football and they hold you to 75 yards passing, you've arrived, man, as a quarterback.
All right, we're going to join NFL 78 right after these messages from your local station.
The story of America continues on Centennial.
You come to fight, huh?
No, to establish a fort.
Dear God, thank you for this life.
Then on Lifeline, Dr. Dan Smith will deliver 7 babies.
I'm Dr. Smith. Your wife's going to have her baby now. Today is its birthday.
Centennial, then Lifeline, tonight on NBC.
The curtain's going up, come see what's new. Detroit and all the world have come to show their cars to you.
The International Auto Show is back at the Kingdom Wednesday through Sunday. See every new 1979 foreign and domestic model. And don't miss the very special Northwest appearance of Harrah's Auto Collection. It's all happening at the Kingdom.
At the International Auto Show.
The automobile, it's gone through some heavy changes, and the heavier it got, the thirstier it got. But now we have to lighten up, and that's where aluminum comes in. It makes your car trimmer so it uses less energy. With 100 pounds of aluminum, the average car saves enough gas to go about 5,000 extra miles. Aluminum, it's a lightweight solution to some heavy problems.
Kaiser Aluminum.
There's a company that helped blaze the trail for automobile insurance, Kemper. Even back in 1913, Kemper offered protection a driver could count on. Since then, we've added 2-car discounts, special safe driver rates, and one of the most convenient budget payment plans around. Today, Kemper still rides with its policyholders, the Kemper Insurance Companies. We're riding hard to serve you better.
You're watching KING TV, Seattle.
It's been this kind of year for the Baltimore Colts. The Miami Dolphins lining it up for a field goal. Don Strock pulls it away from the foot of Garo Yepremian. He rolls right and over the heads of the blue defenders. He throws to Vern Den Herder for a touchdown. Even a defensive end scores on the Colts this year. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our NFL 78 studios. I'm Brian Gumble. Mike Adamley is in our highlight center. We're starting the second half of the season. It's week 9. We'll try to get you caught up. There was a slaughter in New England today at Foxborough. The Patriots just beat up all over the Jets, 55-21, 526 yards of total offense. Mike Adamley has a very, very long highlight package for us. They didn't do anything wrong today, the Patriots.
Well, they sure didn't. If you are a New York Jet fan, I suggest you leave the room right now because what you're about to see isn't very pretty. 8 touchdowns and 55 points. This was number 1. Steve Grogan firing to Harold Jackson. This made it 7-0. Grogan once again to Stanley Morgan, 14-0. Horace Ivory scores touchdown number 3, makes it 21-zip. The Jets came back and scored one of their own, 21-7. Here's touchdown number 4, Horace Ivory again, 28-7. Touchdown number 5, Grogan to Harold Jackson, 34-7. Touchdown number 6, Russ Francis, 41-7. Touchdown number 7, James McAllister. And touchdown number 8, James McAllister again. Final score, 55-21. And Walt Michaels got to go back to the drawing board.
Very monotonous report there, Mike. Washington Redskins had lost 2 in a row coming into today, so they started Billy Kilmer, beat San Francisco 38-20. Kilmer was 12 for 23, 185 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Kansas City against Pittsburgh, the Steelers were hoping for a romp. Instead, they were hanging on for dear life at the end. Won at 27-24. Mike, I guess when you have the kind of class that the Steelers do and the number of good athletes they do, even when you have an off day, you've got enough to get by.
Yeah, Kansas City played very well. They ran the wing tee to perfection. It just wasn't enough. At this point in the game, the Kansas City Chiefs are trailing 20-3, and then they get the wing tee in gear. Number 22, Ted McKnight, long strides it into the end zone to make it 20-10. Then Tony Reed does his touchdown thing. Watch the block of Bob Simmons, 73 here. Screens out Larry Anderson, 30. Mike Wagner gets tangled up, and so does Jack Lambert. Tony Reed reads the block extremely well, cuts back to his right. There goes Steve Furness out of bounds, and he scores to make it 20-17. Chiefs in the ball game until right here. 35, Horace Belton. The ball is stripped. It's picked up by 31, Donnie Shell. He goes into the end zone to make it 27-24. First touchdown in Donnie Shell careers, and the Pittsburgh Steelers stay on top of the AFC Central 8-1. The story in Cleveland, well, Brian Sipe had been maligned as of late because of his passing, but this week he did very well. 3 touchdown passes, 2 to Reggie Rucker. Here is number 2 right here. Number 35 is going to catch this touchdown pass, and watch this reception. One-handed, Calvin Hill, 2 touchdowns of the day. 14-0, and then Mike Pruitt, a #1 draft choice from Purdue in 1976, goes 71 yards. Nobody's going to touch him. Big day for Cleveland Brown fans, and Sam Rutigliano, they're back in the thick of the AFC Central race.
Okay, Mike, you know, it's strange to talk about Bud Wilkinson as accomplishing a first of anything this late in his career. It's been such a fabulous career, but he actually did accomplish a first today. NFL victory #1 for Bud Wilkinson as coach of the St. Louis Cardinals. Today they beat the Philadelphia Eagles 16-10. The Cardinals are now 1-8, and the Eagles sink 1 game below the 500 level after 9 outings. Houston against Cincinnati. It's also victory #1 for the victory-starved Bengals. They go 1-8, beating up on Houston 28-13. Earl Campbell, 19 carries for 103 yards. Another fabulous outing by a fabulous rookie, but it was the Bengals today who actually got a couple of touchdowns on the ground. Mike, what happened? Just finally putting it together?
Well, first of all, congratulations to Homer Rice. Really, the story, Bryant, was the story of Kenny Anderson and Isaac Curtis and Billy Brooks. They came back and played like they did last year. Curtis had 130 yards in receptions alone. Anderson, in the 3rd quarter, is going to hand the ball off to a rookie, Dave Turner from San Diego State, who's replacing Archie Griffin. Watch him go 65 yards before 19. There he is. Willie Alexander pulls him down and set up a 1-yard touchdown run by Pete Johnson. Here comes the last Bengal touchdown of the day. Kenny Anderson, I said he had a great day. Look at those stats. And he hits Mr. Isaac Curtis, and Mr. Curtis just turns on the jet, runs away from everybody. The first win for the Cincinnati Bengals. It's too bad they didn't start out that way in week #1.
Okay, Mike. The Giants went down to the Superdome looking for a win, but it's tough for any team besides the Saints to win down there. The Saints put up 21 points in the second half, came on to beat the Giants 28-17. Archie Manning 13 for 21, 166 yards, 2 touchdown strikes, both to Henry Childs. Detroit against Chicago. The Bears have now lost 6 straight as the Lions win their 2nd in a row. The final was 21-17. Walter Payton, 89 yards, 18 carries, but again, it was Gary Danielson having a big day for the Lions, 20 for 32, 190 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Tampa Bay against Green Bay. The Packers pull this one out in the final moments, 9-7 at home. They go 7-2. Chester Markle, a 48-yard field goal with 41 seconds left, provided the difference. San Diego against Oakland. Remember the fumble game that Oakland won in the final moments? Well, the Raiders are making sure this time. They're out in front 20-7 at the half. Mike, how are they doing it? Has Stabler gotten over that his propensity to throw interceptions that he showed last week?
Yeah, he's playing well, and a fake field goal helped too. Both teams coming off embarrassing losses last week, and it was the Chargers that got on the board first in this contest in Oakland, Alameda County Stadium. Watch number 37, Hank Bauer, take this handoff from Dan Fouts. He barges through the middle of the line. Look at that block by Russ Washington, number 70, and he's going to drag Mr. Jack Tatum into the end zone. You don't do that very often. 7-0 in favor of the Chargers. Later on in the first quarter, 4th and 6, here's that fake field goal attempt I was telling you about. Mr. David Humm, the holder, fires to Dave Casper, keeping the drive alive, and it set up this play. 3rd and 11. Kenny Stabler back to pass. He finds Mr. Casper over the middle. He does the rest of the work. Man missed the extra point to make it 7-6. And Arthur Winnington rambles right here. 26 yards, good open field running. He's been a real find for Al Davis and Johnny Madden. In Miami, the Dolphins had to win today to keep pace with the New England Patriots, and they're doing just that. They're playing very well. Bo Camper has a block kick for a safety.
Okay, Mike, that Miami game now stands at 26-6 in the 3rd quarter. Mike Kirkland had to start that game for the Colts. Burt Jones, of course, still suffering with that busted shoulder. And in the big one going on right now, it is a surprise. Last week, the Seahawks beat the Raiders. This week, they are beating the Denver Broncos. It stands 14-10 at the half. Zorn to Sam McCullum, 44 yards. Morton to Rick Upchurch of 29 yards. And the Seahawks trying now for a share of first in the AFC West. 1978 National Football League game is brought to you by Schlitz. Beer makes it good, Schlitz makes it great. And by Dodge and your Dodge dealer, who invites you to come in and see why people are saying, hey, that's my Dodge. Bryant Gumbel back one more time in New York. Quickly, let's run down the scores of week number 9 as we start the second half. New England beat up all over the Jets today. The final there, 55-21, 8 TDs for the Pats. Washington, 38-20 over San Francisco as Billy Kilmer got a start. Pittsburgh just got by the Kansas City Chiefs. The final there, 27-24. Cleveland, a big outing for Brian Sipe and company, 41-20 after 2 straight losses for them. St. Louis finally gets a win on the board, 16-10 over the Eagles. That one an upset. Another first-time victory goes to Homer Rice and the Bengals. They won 28-13 today over Houston despite Earl Campbell's 100-yard-plus rushing day. New Orleans beats the Giants. The final there, 28-7 as the Saints put 21 on the board in the second half. Detroit beat Chicago 21-17, 6 straight losses for the Bears. Green Bay beat Tampa Bay 9-7. Mark Hole a field goal with 41 seconds left. Oakland out in front of San Diego, that one 20-7. That ball game at the half. Miami 26-6 over Baltimore in the third period. And Seattle out in front 14-10 over Denver Broncos, that one at the half. We've got a second half of action coming up. We'll get to it after a commercial break.
The Saint is marching in. Dodge introduces the St. Regis, the full-size car of the future. Trim outside, roomy inside, luxuriously appointed, but with the efficiency of the automotive electronic age. The new St. Regis by Dodge.
That's my Dodge.
Owens Corning built this glass house so you can see all the places insulation can save money. New home or old. Your attic. In severe climates, you may need insulating power up to R38, a foot of pink Owens Corning fiberglass. Another place to insulate. Floors over unheated garages or crawl spaces, and walls exposed to cold or heat. Want to know about insulation? Ask the experts. Ask Owens Corning.
You should have used Mobile One, dummy. The oil, it saves you gas.
You could have gone up to 10 extra miles, darling.
On every tank full of gas, my son.
Mobile One reduces friction so well it can take the average car up to 10 extra miles per tank full.
Hey, man, what's holding everything up? Some dummy ran out of gas. Didn't use Mobile One.
The oil that saves you gas also saves you oil changes.
14-10 at halftime. Seattle in the lead. Denver was a 3-point favorite in this game. And the halftime statistics, Denver leads in just about everything here in the Kingdome except the score. First downs, as you can see. Look at the yards running, 155-48. Yards passing. Seattle below their seasonal average of 217 yards a game at the halfway pace. Total yards, 253 for Denver, 121 for Seattle.
Kurt, I think the key figure right there is you see how many yards the Broncos have gained, almost 250. That's a 500-yard pace for a whole football game. They've only got 6 points on the board, but I think that's the indicative figure behind why Seattle has only gained 121. They haven't had the ball that much, but they've moved it pretty well when they've had it. I think the game's pretty even. I think the difference is very simply Denver has not capitalized, and Seattle has.
And look at the time of possession. Denver, a little over 19 minutes, and the Seahawks just under 11 minutes. Morton warming up. Leading rusher, Keyworth, 61 yards, a 12-yard average. Smith, 30 yards for Seattle. Zorn is 4 out of 13, and this season he has hit 61%, so he's way below his seasonal average. Odoms, Moses have each caught 2 passes. McCullum has caught 2. Ready for the kickoff now. Al Hunter, Rufus Crawford are deep for the Seahawks. Lonnie Perrin will boot it. And we're underway for the second half with Kurt Gowdy and John Brody. Al Hunter on the 7. Out to the 15. 20. Finds the crack. Races over the 30. And is hauled down on his 34-yard line. He's taken there by Larry Canada. who went down to cover, number 35. But we'll have the same offense for Seattle. Jim Zorn at quarterback. Sherm Smith, Don Testerman will be the running backs. Dave Sims, by the way, leading rushing scorer in the National Football League, is injured, not playing today for Seattle. Wide receivers will be McCullum, 84. Largent, 80. The tight end is Ron Howard, 87. Zorn up. They've had a controlled pass rush. They actually shadowed him one-on-one with either outside linebacker. There it is, and it's deflected. When he rolls left, Jackson stays with him. When he goes to the right, Swenson will float out with him, and he is sort of like a basketball guard covering.
Well, what they've done is they have tried to contain Zorn. They've done it very effectively. A couple times Jim has been forced out of the pocket, but those were not by design. When he wants to get out, they've hemmed him in. They've forced him to throw the ball swifter than he'd like. They've been in his path on several occasions on patterns over the middle, and they've pretty well shut down his throwing game, but his offensive line is giving him another dimension. They're allowing his backs to run for good yardage, so his offense has not been stopped.
He's 4 out of 14 now. 3 wide receivers on the field. The handoff, Smith comes through, first down, 45, Smith to the 50. That's that deep handoff they like.
Well, what we're talking about is in order to contain a Zorn, you have to give something up. Usually you'll see linebackers, both Rizzo on one side, Jackson on the other. These guys will be in the holes that Sherman Smith is running through. Now, usually a linebacker is in a position where he hasn't got any guard or tackle in his face and can make a clean hit. This time, however, the linebackers had people in their face, and Sherman picks up a first down.
And they took Smith out 47. He just picked up 16 yards in that carry. Al Hunter replaces him, number 24. First down, Seattle on the 50. Hunter tackled, brought down on the 48 of Denver. He was hit there by number 59, Joe Rizzo. Fifth-year player out of the Merchant Marine Academy. Second down, 8, Seattle. On the Denver Bronco 48. Bebop left tackle, Lynch left guard, Yarno center, Newton right guard, Steve August right tackle. That's the Denver offensive lineup. The front 3. Chavis, Carter, Alzado for Denver. Swenson, Rizzo, Gratishar, Jackson. The big 4, the linebackers. Draw play. Don Testerman, number 42. Brought down short of the Denver 45 by Randy Gratishar. He had some help from number 77, Lyle Alzado.
That's actually farther than I thought a draw play would go. You mentioned earlier that in order to trap a Zorn, that the on-rushing linemen have to kind of come in there and hold their position while the linebackers contain from the outside. Well, if they're playing that way defensively, a draw play is not going to be effective, and we saw it go for 2 yards.
Largent, the second leading pass receiver of the American Conference, number 80, has caught only 1 today. They're setting a screen up to Sherm Smith. Smith has a first down. I like him. He's a fine runner. He knows where he is all the time.
And what's even more important is Seattle not only likes him, but sees the value that he can contribute to their squad. Now, you're going to watch Tom Lynch and Bebout in perfect position. This all happens when your offensive line is well coordinated. As Smith gets the ball on the inside, here's John Yarno. He picks off Gratishar, just stops him long enough so he can't get behind the line and break up the screen. On the other side, Bebo took the cornerback out, and it was a very effective screen.
And, John, it's a first down. The Seahawks on the move, and the Denver 38, they're ahead 14-10 early in the third period. There's the deep pass. It is incomplete to Largent. Largent had turned the wrong way. The pass sailed out of bounds. He was being covered by the strong safety, Bill Thompson.
And what they did is a little double zone where they had Louis Wright, and because of that chucking rule, you'll see a lot more double zone. They roll those corners up and try to get a piece of the receiver before he gets 5 yards down the field. That forces the 2 free safety position to come over and cover swiftly. It leaves a little pocket in there. That time Zorn saw it. Largent didn't, and I really think it was just a miscommunication.
Largent, coming into this game, had made 35 catches. That's second in the conference. Swan had 38. The all-pro wide receiver of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Second down, 10. Seahawks and the Bronco 38. Duke Ferguson's in there as wide receiver. They go out to that sideline to Testerman. Testerman is taken at the 34. He's hit by Bill Thompson of Maryland State. Year after year in losing seasons for the Broncos, Thompson did not get credit. Now they finally realize he's one of the best.
We've talked about Jim Zorn, the things he can do. We all know he can run around, but he's not just a sprint-out, scrambling-type quarterback. He's got an excellent drop. His weight's right. He goes right over the top of his legs when he throws the ball. He gets plenty on it. He puts the ball where he wants, and he seems to have excellent peripheral vision. I don't know what more you can ask of a guy. Young quarterback or not, right now he's playing better than everybody in the league.
Duke Ferguson, Steve Largent, Steve Rabel, 3 wide receivers on the field. They're down 6. Seattle. Denver's 34. This side. Pops out. Incomplete pass. He was hit hard, Testerman. And he was really popped there by Steve Foley, number 43.
You know, in a game of this magnitude where both teams are trying to get a piece of that conference title, you see a little over-exuberance. We saw some in the first half. However, it was called by the officials. They're in great control of the game. This game is a hitting game. We saw Jack Dolman get taken out early in the game because of a real hard hit. This time, Testerman gets hit by Zorn, but harder than that, he gets hit by Foley, who's been a very aggressive cornerback. Gradishar almost picks it off, and we've got Testerman down on the turf.
Foley, 4 interceptions this year. Darden of Cleveland was the leader in the American Conference this weekend. We don't know what he did today.
He couldn't have done too badly because
the Browns
they just
won.
Whipped up on somebody.
All right, a timeout here in the Kingdome in Seattle with the score still Seattle 14 and Denver 10.
In color TV, Computer Color 330 from Magnavox. Computer Color 330 with 25% more lines of resolution. A sharper, crisper color picture than ever before possible. Touch-tune television with Computer Color 330. New from Magnavox. Now from Magnavox, free remote control for a limited time only when you buy any Computer Color 330 Videomatic TV.
Uh-oh. Found some more damage hiding way back under there. Gonna cost you more.
Oh, boy. And the insurance is settled. I guess I got stuck.
Not with Allstate.
Oh, yeah?
That kind of hidden damage gets you a new settlement. Fair is fair.
I'll check it out.
And Allstate believes that's the only way to settle a claim.
Well?
We'll pay for it.
Well.
When it comes to claims, Allstate wants to be fair.
And that's a promise from us, the good hands people.
Christy McNichol, as a young Jewish girl, risks all to help a fleeing Nazi POW.
I love you, Anton.
Summer of My German Soldier, Monday.
Testerman was taken out, number 42. It's 4th and 5. Here's a tough call.
All right, we'll get to it in a second. I like it.
They're going for something. They're on the Denver 34. Look out, he's hit from behind. Bob Nerney came in, a first sack on Zorn in the game. Nerney, number 58 of Oregon State, circled in very quickly, had the penetration, and brought him down, and Denver stops him and takes over.
Okay, that's fine, but what I like most is Patera's willingness to do the things that have got them into a position where they're 4-4. They know personnel-wise they don't quite stand up to Denver. They made a good drive. They got the ball in good position. Earlier, it earned them a touchdown, but instead of taking 3 points, that's the difference in their lead. If you're going to criticize them, go before the ball. I thought it was a good idea. It just came up bad.
First down, Denver on the 41 of Denver. Morton. Off to Lonnie Perrin. Perrin to the 47 of Denver. It's a 6-yard gain. He was brought down by Cornell Webster, the left cornerback. Testerman was hit hard on that pass play, and he looks woozy there, John.
Well, he's got to be if he's...
Larry Canada now is the running back. Red Miller alternates running backs. He has 6 of them, more than any coach in the NFL. There goes Canada. Big hole, and he rips over it for a first down, and he's down on the Seattle 44-yard line by John Harris, the free safety.
And you get the feeling Canada's playing more and more in spots, but when he's in there, he seems to be doing a lot of the ball carrying, and he's doing what he does best. Denver matches up very well against Seattle, running the ball on the ground. The offensive line, again, has done an outstanding job of moving the defense around. Canada's plumb.
Doran checking with his box. Lonnie Perrin outside. Well, he's brought down by number 53, rookie linebacker Keith Butler of Memphis State. He was in there. Let's take a look at a rerun on this one.
How many times do you see a team that drafts their number 1 and number 2 from the same college? Both he and Keith Simpson came out of Memphis State. And Bob Zeman, who I regard as one of the finest defensive people in this game, is coaching the Broncos, and he said he worked him out before the draft, and he said he was the best linebacker he'd seen in college.
Second down, 12. Broncos on the Seahawk 46. Seattle ahead, 14-10. 9 minutes to go in the third period. The deep drop by Morton. Lobs it out to Canada. 45. And he's dropped at the 42-yard line. He's hit there by 38. Cornell Webster, who appears to be a sure tackler in that open field.
Both he and Autry Beeman are both good tacklers, and we know about Dave Brown. Good secondary.
We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is Channel 5, KING-TV, Seattle.
We're back here in the Kingdome, Seattle. 14-10 the score. Seattle ahead. Kurt Gowdy and John Brody. The man you just saw, Jack Patera, went hunting yesterday. He's getting like Bud Grant.
I think he plays this game the way it should be.
Third down. 8 to go. He's going to be sacked. He's down to the 44. That's the second sack by Seattle. And it was Bill Gregory, and he's recorded both of them.
Let me show you what a viewpoint like a Patera's is. It's 4th down and 5. One series ago, they go for it and miss. Okay, what does that do? It really tests your defense, right? They come out, they stop Denver without gaining more than 20 yards. Now, the defense for the Seahawks has been to the test. They're not waiting around to see what they can do. They're after it.
Punt formation. Bucky Dilts will kick to Rufus Crawford. They went after him. The angles went up. And it is going to be, it's a fine kick. It's down. It's down on the 7-yard line. Dilts doesn't have the average of last year, but he's excellent at kicking the ball dead inside the 20. So we'll return here to the Kingdome with the score. Seattle 14 and Denver 10.
Nobody does it better than Hurt.
Nobody does it better. Hertz leads the others by far. Nobody does it best of all. You Hertz, the superstar.
Nobody has more of what it takes to rid you of Fairmont, Mustang, LTD, or other fine car faster.
Hertz, the superstar.
You know it.
From the Sierras to the Smokies, people are discovering what makes the great outdoors great.
Beer makes it good. Beer's just one Schlitz. There's no debate. Nothing else comes near. Beer makes it good. When you're out of Schlitz, Schlitz makes it great. You're out of beer.
11 million times a day, America reaches for a Schlitz. Every drop show-lagered for quality since 1849.
Schlitz makes it like no other good. Schlitz makes it great.
The game-breaking plays, the hottest new craze, all pros in action, the latest in fashion, straight-talking views and late-breaking news. The pregame show that has it all, NFL 78.
They must be running that ball a lot in Oakland. Same starting time as here in Seattle, and that's at the end of the third quarter now. Oakland leading San Diego 20-14. Fouts just scored on a 1-yard quarterback sneak to put San Diego back in.
Danny's a fine quarterback, but 1 yard's just about his distance running.
First down, Seattle in a hole on their own 7-yard line. Kesterman, and he fights his way to his 9-yard line, and that's it. Second down, 8 to go. Let's watch Swenson as he tries to hang in on this play.
Well, this is when it's so tough. The linebackers know if we can keep you down in a hole, if we don't give you a first down, you're not liable to throw the ball. However, in Zorn's case, he may be. But it gets very tight down there, whether you're on your own 10 or inside the other team's 10. The action gets pretty stiff. 2 yards isn't a bad pickup in that situation.
Now Denver wants to contain him and make him punt out of here. or forced them into a mistake. Second down 8, 9-yard line of Seattle. Kept them in motion. We got a mess up there. They have a fumble, and they do.
Paul Smith.
Looked like John Grant's in there.
Paul Smith came out with the ball.
Had it, 70. That's a second-line unit on the field right now in the front three. Paul Smith, the only remaining Bronco from the AFL years.
I played against Paul Smith several years ago when he was really what they considered to be in his prime, and he hasn't gone downhill much. They don't consider themselves to have a second unit. They've got the ball on the 10.
First and goal to go. And crashing almost to the 5-yard line. They're running a straight-ahead power. That time behind Bobby Maples. Dennis Boyd making the stop on Lonnie Perrin. Perrin, the University of Illinois. He'll be replaced now by Larry Canada. Second down, 5 to go for a Denver touchdown that could put them in front.
Bobby Maples may be playing when he's 50 if he plays like this.
Lone setback is Canada. Good on short yardage. There he goes. They just nip him.
I think he got in, but they don't seem to think so.
Oh, I think he went down there on the half-yard line. John Harris, the free safety, hit him.
Okay, we may get a chance to see it. Let's take a look at it from a cornerback's viewpoint. Here comes Canada, nothing but a mass of bodies. Cornerback Harris hits him right near the goal line. They really saved a touchdown, and they were correct.
All right, it's on the 1-yard line, and the third different fullback in the last 3 plays comes in. John Keyworth now. They started with Perrin, then they inserted Canada, and now they replace him with Keyworth.
And a lot of the reason for it is that they can't exchange plays with their receivers, Upchurch and Dalvin, because Upchurch is doing all the playing.
Third down, 1 yard to go for a Bronco touchdown. He's in there. Lonnie Perrin. They have the 2 big backs in there. Perrin and Keyworth, and Perrin scores, and Denver takes the lead. As they forced the mistake, Bucky Dills punted it dead at the 7, and there it is.
Here we go, taking a look from downstairs. The congestion is fierce. The linebackers can't find a way to get to the hole. Cornell Webster comes too late. And Lonnie Perrin's in for 6, puts them ahead by 2.
Jim Turner. Holding will be Craig Morton. The point is good. Denver has the lead for the second time in the game. They grabbed the early lead. So the score now is Denver 17 and Seattle 14.
Dawn launch, Sea of Japan. See a recruiter or call toll-free. It's not just a job, it's an adventure.
The Saint is marching in. Dodge introduces the St. Regis, the full-size car of the future. Trim outside, roomy inside, luxuriously appointed, but with the efficiency of the automotive electronic age. The new St. Regis by Dodge.
That's my Dodge.
Yeah. Lonnie Perrin, who just scored the go-ahead touchdown, will kick it off for Denver. Rufus Crawford, number 34, Al Hunter, number 24, are back at their own 3-yard line. And this was the pattern that Denver set last year, forcing the opponents into mistakes in their own territory and then cashing in. They forced the Zorn fumble and quickly went into the lead.
That's the way they play, and they have to get those kind of breaks.
Al Hunter waits for the kick in the 3. He's out to the 10. Trying to get that outside blocker. Squirts over the 25 and is down in his 27-yard line. Denver had down there number 46 covering that kickoff. That's Dave Preston, the rookie. Time permitting, stay tuned following our game for the Sperry NFL Report. There's the brief story, and it's very brief, of that last Broncos scoring drive. All right, let's see what Seattle does now. They're a good team when they're behind. They come back. They're explosive. Remember, this was the #1 passing team in the National Football League, averaging over 200 yards a game passing. Smith over the 30 to the 31-yard line. Sherm Smith, who's been the best runner today for the Seahawks. Louis Wright hit him there, the left cornerback. Second down, 6. Let's check Smith's figures. He now has 48 yards, 11 carries.
That's pretty impressive when you consider the fact that they haven't had the ball much.
You're right, John. The Broncos have had the most possession and run the most plays in scrimmage. Second down, 6. Slot left. Smith again fights through tacklers and appears to have the first down. He made that on his own. He had the hole originally. They tried to plug it up, and then he ripped them.
I've seen an awful lot of teams that have played all day long and have not made a penetration past the line of scrimmage as far as Sherman Smith gets on this particular play. They have broken the backs into the defensive backfield on 5 or 6 different occasions today. I'd say their offense is effective. They've only got 14 points on the board, but that's far below what Denver usually gives up.
You just saw what coaches like to call arm tackling on the part of Denver. They didn't hit the ball carrier. They grabbed him by the arm. Dorn on first down to the sideline. It's complete. And that is number 84, Sam McCullum of Montana State. Bozeman, Montana. Flag is down.
So is an official.
Official went down with the flag at the 45-yard line as somebody ran under him. McCullum scored the first touchdown of the game on a 44-yard reception. An eligible receiver downfield.
I wonder if it was the man who hit the official.
Well, this will cancel the game. Tom Jackson comes in there, and he's directing the strategy, number 57. He reminds me a lot of Tom Henderson down there with the Dallas Cowboys. They're both such super athletes.
You've got it.
Fun guys.
Ineligible downfield, number 61 offense. Repeat first down.
That was Tom Lynch, the left guard, who somehow got in his mind that he's another Steve Largent. Red Miller. See why they call him Red? Oh, that's brick red, isn't it? On the 28-yard line. 1st and 20. Seattle. Been stalled here in the 3rd period. The toss. It is complete. And that was a fine catch by Duke Ferguson of San Diego State, a second-year player.
And the impressive thing is that he bobbled the ball when he first touched it. He still was able to get his feet in and get control of it. Now the officials see that he bobbled the ball and they're taking it back.
Well, we have another flag down. It's a flag, John, in the backfield, and there's Jackson, the Gradishar, with another weighty decision. Put him back, says Gradishar. March him back. They want to pin him back there again and cause a mistake.
Denver well knows what that's like.
Let's listen to this one.
Holding, number 76 offense. Down.
That's Steve August, the right tackle, who held. That puts Seattle back on their 18-yard line. They have now a first down and 30 yards to go. Look at the yards penalized. Broncos in the first half had most of them. Now the Seahawks are catching up. 1st and 30. What can you do? Just what Zorn's doing. Setting up a screen to Sherm Smith. Smith dancing around at the 20. Finally wrapped up at the 23-yard line of the Broncos. He's hit there by number 51 Swenson and Don Lattimore, number 72. Very quick rookie nose guard.
They've got 2 plays to pick up a little bit over 23, maybe it's 24 yards, and they're down in a very poor field position to be firing that thing 20 or 30 yards down the field to pick it up in one play. I look very much for Zorn to try and hit either McCullum or Largent outside about 14 yards.
Carter goes in there as nose guard. Second down, 25. The toss over the head of number 84, Sam McCullen. He had curled in, was open. Zorn had a big rush on him. That time by Barney Chavis, the left end defensively. He had to unload in a hurry. It's 3rd and 25. And Zorn's probably had the worst day of the season, or maybe his Seattle career. 7 out of 20, that is for passing percentage.
Yeah, the worst day statistically.
But he scored a touchdown and passed for a touchdown.
You know what I think of those, and he's had about he's had about 3 of them called back. He's hit the receivers that were actually open. It may have appeared to have his receiver open, then I didn't think he was.
3rd down, 25. They have to get to their own 48 for a first down. They let him come in. Goes on the run, and that's an incomplete forward pass. Broncos are rushing in and arguing that it was intentionally grounding. The only way it's intentionally grounding if you throw the ball to avoid losing yardage.
Well, do you think that may have been what he did? Whether they called
Miller thinks so. Look at Red.
I agree with Miller. Right then, it was a great play made possible by Reuben Carter and also Gradishar forcing Zorn out of the pocket. And when he did so, he had nobody to throw to. There was no receiver in the area. I may disagree with the rule that says you have to find a receiver, but that play, he wasn't looking to throw to anybody.
That old rule is gone. They just have to avoid yardage. There's a high kick by Herb Weaver. Upchurch will call for the fair catch on his 39-yard line, where Denver will put the ball in play right after this message.
Life is for living, and Visa is there.
Antique treasures, touring pleasures, bright fabric by the yard, magic castles, Moorish tassels, teasing the guard. Camp wagons, fierce dragons, aloha rockabye, fettuccine, sukiyaki, ice cream and apple pie, Spanish dancers, Arctic prancers, your own place in the sun.
Visa is the most widely recognized card in the world. Visa, we're keeping up with you.
I'm Merlin, the electronic wizard, challenging you to 6 computer games. Start with simple tic-tac-toe. Your turn, my turn. I'll tell you if you win and when you lose. Play all kinds of games. Echo, Blackjack 13, Magic Square, or formidable Mind Bender, or make beautiful music together. Merlin, the electronic wizard from Parker Brothers.
The big D is the story here in the 3rd quarter. That's defense for Denver. Their defense is dominating right now and forced Seattle into a mistake and then cashed in on it for the touchdown. Larry Canada ripping through, but as he does, a yellow flag flutters down at the 40-yard line. Canada, he gets yards, John.
You bet. Those do have a tendency, though, to spoil your drives, and we just saw Seattle twice complete balls that were called back because of penalty. Now on first down, Denver gets the same thing happening to them.
Denver will be penalized. Denver has averaged 20 times on a first down situation, 7 yards. Seattle has averaged 6 yards. Hey, that's excellent. Boy, when you come up with a 2nd and 3, 2nd and 4, that's a better way to play football.
Number 71 offense, repeat first down.
Takes all the brilliance out of those quarterback calls.
See what's happening down in Oakland. Field goal by Errol Mann, 25 yards. Oakland leading San Diego 23-14. Lytle brought down on his 40-yard line around the ankles by Ernie Price, the left end, and Bill Sandifer, the right tackle. Sandifer, number 66 out of UCLA. 6 yards. 2nd down, 9 to go. Lytle's out. Now Dave Preston comes in. Could that mean a pass? They like to throw to him sometimes.
Well, that's what Seattle thinks, because they've brought in their five-back defense. They brought in an extra linebacker, and they're going with a 3-man line. We haven't seen much of that today.
Largent has been shut down today. He's had only 1 reception. Really been on him. They've doubled him every time. 2nd down, 9. Deflected at the line of scrimmage. That was deflected by Ernie Price, number 62, who's been the best pass rusher this year for Seattle.
Well, I'll tell you, those 2 defensive ends seem to be doing the job in key situations. That time, 62 batted it down, but it was really made possible by Bill Gregory, who got around Claudie Miner, and you can see it's getting kind of active in there.
Yeah.
They do care.
3rd down and 9. Preston's out. Lytle's back in.
Tom Lynch sitting on the bench waiting his turn.
2 minutes, 11 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Denver ahead, 17-14. The blitz. They're going to try and blitz him. He's throwing deep. There's Upchurch out there. Nearly intercepted by Cornell Webster. Webster finally caught up with him and nearly grabbed it. Looked like Upchurch was going to walk away from him.
Well, Upchurch could have gone quite a bit farther. He beat Webster originally. Webster made a good reaction to the ball. The ball was a bit underthrown. Very well seen by Morton. A lot of times when they blitz, you won't go to your deep man. He picked the proper receiver to go to, just didn't execute.
On formation with Bucky Dills, Rufus Crawford. He's not very deep. He's on his own 20. They go after him, and they get it, a little piece of it. The ball squirting around. Seattle's going to have excellent field position now on the 47-yard line. They really went after him. And then there was number 48. Watch where the kicker goes down.
You mentioned they went after it, and don't think a kicker can't feel that pressure coming in. He catches the ball high on his foot, then he kind of falls in the pile, but none of that was generated by the defensive pass rush or kick rush. Seattle's got fine field position.
He was lucky to come out of there, Dilts. All right, so now Seattle has forced a mistake or put the pressure on. They're on the Denver 48 with a 1st down, trailing by 3 points late in the 3rd quarter. Play action pass. Zorn, short shot to the tight end Howard. And Howard's dumped, but he probably has the 1st down. Bonnie Howard from Seattle. Hit by Tom Jackson. They look to the yardsticks. 1st down, Seattle. On the Denver 38.
You know, sometimes you say, well, he comes off to his receiver late because no one's open downfield. However, that play was designed to have both wide receivers take the secondary down the field. Ron Howard slow block, which meant stayed in and helped on the defensive end, then slipped out, and Zorn was going to him all the way.
1st down. They're on the Denver 38-yard line. Zorn again looking.
They're going again.
Same play. This one is nearly grabbed by Smith. He popped it up in the air, went after it again, and battling with him was Randy Gradishar, and it just drops with an incomplete pass. 2nd down, 10.
Exactly the same thing happened. Here comes Zorn on a little play-action pass, and he's doing it to Smith. The man he fakes to goes in as if it's a fake, comes out underneath the linebackers. Gradishar makes a quick recovery, or Smith would have had a big gain.
That punt of 8 yards by Bucky Dilts under heavy pressure has given Seattle a chance now with a 2nd and 10. They're on the 38-yard line of the Denver Broncos. 1 minute to go in the 3rd period. Hand off to Smith, and he really started somewhere, and then suddenly John Grant from behind nicked him around the ankles and brought him down, number 63. Field goal by San Diego. They're having a scrap down there. 6 minutes to play in the game. It is now Oakland 23, San Diego 17.
They had a pretty good scrap earlier in the year, and I don't think either team's forgotten it. And right here, they're not having a bad scrap.
3rd and 3. Seattle on the Denver 31. Sprint out over the head of number 42, Don Testerman, to stop the clock. 14 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. 4th and 3.
All year long, Zorn has been able to sprint out and oftentimes break the containment. However, Svensson has been playing the play perfectly from his left side. Rizzo's been playing it great from the other side. They've been doing a job at containing Zorn when he's trying to do what he does best, which is get outside the contain and find somebody open and run it.
Well, he's hit 61% for the season. Today he has 33%, 8 out of 24. Herrera will try a 49-yard field goal that could tie this game. Officials time. Now Denver's asked for time.
You know, a lot of times, Kurt, I can understand that. There's 14 seconds left in the half. They'd like to make sure he kicks it this way rather than go the other because of some sort of a wind factor. Excuse me, the third quarter, because the ball will be changing hands in 14 seconds. But we're under a dome, and there isn't much wind factor. So I don't understand what their thought is unless they're not ready for any possible happening.
John, do you think they thought they might have had 10 or 12 players in the field?
I don't think they had too many players on the field, but I do think, as you pointed out,
they might have thought so, though.
Yeah, either that, they were uncertain that they knew what they were doing defensively.
So now they'll have 2 timeouts left.
You know,
well, the old gag about, you know, you're a great golfer, letting that fella take a little more time to putt and think about it, or a free throw shooter, putting more pressure on him, calling a timeout, letting him think about it.
I can understand that, Kurt, if they were down in the 30, but they're really almost outside Herrera's range. And so his viewpoint has got to be, hey, if I get it in there, good for me. If I don't, so be it.
He misses it. The ball will come back to the 31-yard line of Denver's. 49-yard field goal attempt by Herrera. And the kick is up. That one is no good. He drove it to the left. He had the distance.
He gave it a rip.
But it was to the left. Yeah, he put some leg into that one. It'll be Denver's ball. First down, and Seattle failed to cash in when they had the ball in Denver territory. 10 seconds to go, and there's your score in the third period. We were talking to John Thompson, the president general manager, and Mark Duncan, the assistant general manager, what Seattle needed next year, and they're going to draft defensive players, especially down linemen. They like their offense. They want to show up their defense. Craig Morton, right down. Here's a curl by Upchurch. Upchurch went down to the 45, curl back in, and it's good enough for a first down with Webster right behind him. He had the inside position.
I love Upchurch. He was down there, and he made such a fast turn. You know, from the time you commit to making your break to when you get your head turned around and in a position to catch the ball is a big thing for a receiver, and he does it great.
That's the end of the third quarter in the Kingdome here in Seattle with a score. Denver 17, Seattle 14.
They go forward. They go backward. They go back and forth in a hammering action. They go through wood, steel, concrete, granite. No matter what it is, a Black & Decker drill can put a hole in it. In fact, anything a drill can do, Black & Decker makes a drill that can do it. When America has a job to do, it reaches for Black & Decker.
From South Carolina to North Dakota, they know what makes a state fair a great fair.
Beer makes it good. It's just one Schlitz. There's no debate. Nothing else comes near. Beer makes it good. When you're out of Schlitz, Schlitz makes it great. You're out of beer.
Nobody makes it like Schlitz. Every drop chill lagered for quality. 11 million times a day, America reaches for a Schlitz. Because since 1849, Schlitz makes it great.
So when it comes to beer, why make it good? Schlitz makes it like no other good. Schlitz makes it great.
The race for the 1980 Olympics has already begun. The games in Moscow are just the last lap of a long, grueling race that's going on right now. We've got the talent, but we need your support. Because America doesn't send athletes to the Olympics, Americans do. Don't let our team get caught short. Send a contribution to U.S. Olympic Committee, Box 1980T, Cathedral Station, Boston. For $25 or more, you'll receive this Olympic tote bag. This message furnished by the U.S. Olympic Committee and NBC.
We're going to give you that address again, so get a pencil and paper so you can write it down. The coaching head men, Patera was on the left, Red Miller on the right. First down, Denver, their own 44. They take a 3-point lead into the fourth quarter of this game when they send Lonnie Perrin into the line for a short gain, maybe 3 yards to his 47. Dennis Boyd, the left tackle of Oregon State, stopped him. Kurt Gowdy, John Brody here. 301 yards for Denver. Who says they don't have any offense? And 171 yards for Seattle. Denver scored first with a field goal. Seattle came back with a 44-yard touchdown pass, Zorn to McCullum. 4-yard run by Zorn. They led 14-3. Denver made it 14-10. Rick Upton taking the pass. Otis Armstrong, who hasn't played much today, slips and falls down around the 50-yard line. And in the third quarter, Zorn fumbled on the 7-yard line of Seattle, and Denver took it in with Lonnie Perrin bucking over 1 yard out. That's been it. Here's that address again. It's tax deductible. U.S. Olympics. Post Office Box 1980T, Cathedral Station, Boston, Mass. 02118. I'm still trying to figure out where Cathedral Station is. I live there. 50-yard line. Third down. 4.
Spare time.
Morton, beautiful protection. Preston couldn't hold on to it. He was whanged into by number 53, Keith Butler. It's a very aggressive young linebacker, John.
Sure he is, but what happened is the ball was thrown just a little bit late. It's a delay play. Morton went back, allowed the linebackers to get back. However, Butler wasn't buying much. By the time he got to Preston, the game was over.
Rufus Crawford drops back to the 10-yard line. Now, the last time, watch the blue line. Watch the blue line. They went in after him. They sent 6 or 7 men. Bucky Dilts will be the punter.
The fact that they did it last time will at least put some concern in his head. It might be a pretty good time for a return.
They have 10 men up at the line of scrimmage. Just another timeout.
Sign of a veteran. Maples was scared they didn't have it covered.
No, they just delay. There's something about the ball. He has to snap it. The veteran Bobby Maples.
What it is he got him to stop play without having to call a timeout by knowing they didn't have the situation handled, and all he has to do is call the attention of the official to the ball. That gives him enough time to regroup, think about what it is they have to do. The crowd here knows what he's trying to do. Somehow he didn't get caught. That's why he's been around so long.
You boo sprinkling down.
Well, here we go again.
Now, this is delay a game. And Dilts probably doesn't mind that.
I thought he was going to get away for nothing.
We've just entered the fourth quarter.
Offense, still 4th down.
Well, they have about a 4th and 9. And they still, well, they're putting 8 men up front and a couple of men right and back.
I don't think they're coming, pal.
Crawford all by himself. Now they get 10 men. They're going. Short, high kick. Crawford. Fair catches. 16-yard line. Seattle's ball, first down. Well, Dilts did his job on that one. A timeout before Seattle takes over, with the score still Denver 17 and Seattle 14.
All across America, our new Dodge Diplomat wagon is getting a great reception. Maybe it's because Diplomat is one of the few wagons with optional leather seating. Or that it offers over 70 cubic feet of cargo space. Or that it's just so affordable. Whatever it is, our Dodge Diplomat wagon is getting a lot of attention these days. Maybe too much.
That's my Dodge.
This is a perfect JCPenney combination of style and savings. From now until November 3rd, our Luxury Touch blazer, reversible vest, and slacks are each 20% off. Their rich look and feel make this a real value, but there's more. If you buy this blazer, vest, and 2 pairs of slacks, you've got a coordinated wardrobe of 6 different combinations in a choice of colors. Luxury Touch clothes at JCPenney. This is the way to lock up a great look for yourself.
Nobody offers Super Saver discount fares to so much of this land as United. United built the largest airline in the free world around you.
All the Denver teammates of Bucky Dilts have been congratulating him. He hung one up there, forced the fair catch at the 16. Seattle now has a long way to go. And they bring the ball club out in a standard pro set, wide receiver on each side. First down. Dorn out to the sideline. He has his man out there. That's number 89, Duke Ferguson from San Diego State.
He's another man, Kurt, that they got in that trade with Dallas.
Yeah, that trade with Dallas is a very interesting topic of conversation here. Tony Dorsett. They exchanged #1 picks. Dallas took Dorsett. And Seattle ended up with Dallas's #1 pick and 3 #2 choices, and 3 of those men are playing first string now. They needed bodies, playing personnel. Zorn on that deep handoff. Sherm Smith. That's their favorite play, where Zorn starts to sprint out, and then it gives him the deep handoff in the backfield.
Okay, we've mentioned Sherman Smith. He hasn't had too much national acclaim, but everybody that's played against him knows of the many qualities he has that can help a ball club. Here you see him as an inside runner. You've seen him as an outside runner, a pass catcher, a blocker leading the other running backs for the Seahawks. He does it all, and he does it all well.
He has 66 yards rushing, 14 carries. Al Hunter goes out. They're short of running backs with the injury to David Sims of Georgia Tech. They just put Tony Benjamin on the roster, a second-year man from Duke. And that's it. Well, they could play Rufus Crawford from Virginia State, a rookie. Been mainly a kick and punt returner. Timeout. Charge to Seattle. They have 2 left. They took a timeout in the huddle.
Not too many people saving their timeouts for the last few minutes, and it's a very tight game. Could be meaningful. Zorn talking with Howard Mudd.
While he talks it over, John, we'll leave you for a minute with a score. 17-14 Denver.
Hey, nice. Where'd you get it?
Avis Rent-A-Car.
Avis introduces rent-a-cars you wish you owned, like the Chevy Caprice.
I think I'll park it myself.
The Cadillac Sedan DeVille, the Olds Cutlass, Buick Regal, the Pontiac Grand Prix. Rent-a-cars you wish you owned. Avis now features GM cars.
Avis, we don't know another way.
It's drag racing champion, 240-mile-an-hour Tom McEwen. And 40-mile-an-hour Fred Dreyer, dune buggy champ of the LA Rams.
Hey, Fred, you better watch the speed limit.
Look, Tom, they don't call me the Sandman for nothing, you know.
Yeah, but first of all, you're a Pennzoil man, right?
I put Pennzoil quality in all my buggies.
Pennzoil quality.
Ask for it.
Yeah.
Mr. Gary Coleman speaks out on the subject of physical fitness.
It takes a lot of work. I wasn't born with this terrific body.
Gary's coming soon to NBC.
Confused in the huddle, Seattle took the timeout. Denver has 2 left. They had to take one on a defensive situation. Seattle has 2 left. They have the ball on their 28-yard line. With a first down. Testament's in at running back. Zorn fake to him. Zorn scrambles out, throws the ball to number 87, Ron Howard, and it hit the artificial surface incomplete. 2nd down 10. Denver right now is playing the kind of defense that won them the AFL championship last year.
It's the sort of thing that the people in Denver had become accustomed to expecting, and it kind of caught up. And now they're just playing outstanding defense. It's not what you'd call unbelievable. You know, they haven't come up with the same miracles, but they've got the same people, all of them having good years. It's almost not good enough for Denver their defense to play this way. And in the last quarter, they've played outstandingly well, better than they have prior this year.
They claim they own the 4th quarter. They almost do. I think they scored 56 points to the opponent's 7 in the 4th period. The wide scramble, the toss, incomplete, way out of bounds, intended for Steve Largent. And again, he was double teamed. And Zorn, what's going on back there?
Well, you see, again, it's those linebackers forcing Zorn when he gets outside the pocket to put his attention on one receiver. Now, he can't throw it all the way across the field. Here goes Bebout. He's trying to handle Alzado. Alzado's coming around. But he's not really the guy that made the force. The force was made by Svensson, all right? When he does so, he puts Zorn in a position where he's throwing the ball and he doesn't want to. He's got to throw it away.
Zorn's over in the sideline. Jack Patera, a rather unemotional coach. And now coming in is Steve Meyer. backup quarterback, third-year player from New Mexico, and they're very high on him, too. They think they have two fine young quarterbacks there in this organization.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, Jim Zorn is a great quarterback. Steve Meyer is a good one.
And a new quarterback on the field. This usually happens. The exchange, bad timing between the center and the quarterback. Flags were dropped. Came out of there sloppily, as you saw. In the meantime, Zorn, they're trying to talk upstairs and find out what they can do to crack this tenacious Denver defense that refuses to let Zorn scramble around at the legal delay, that is containing his receivers.
I think you hit the situation right on the head. They didn't bench Jim Zorn, but Zorn came out, kind of exposed that, hey, I got to get something together here. We're not together. I'm a little confused. He talked upstairs to Jerry Rome with Howard Mudd. It means they've got an awful lot of confidence in a kid like Myers.
Delay of game, offense, third down.
He came in for one play. Zorn maybe has it straight now. We'll see on the next call. At least he'll have some idea of what he wants to accomplish.
They have a third down and 15. Denver ahead 17-14. Seattle led at the half. McCullum, Largent, Rabel. Three wide men in. Now he's got time. Shoots it on the run a little high. And the pass intercepted by Swenson. Swenson took the ricochet and came up with it. And it'll be Denver's ball. And that is the third turnover charged to Seattle, 2 in this half.
All right, you mentioned earlier, Kurt, that, hey, Denver's really playing the kind of defense they're capable of playing. And this is the kind of defense they have to play, that they've been known for playing. The very opportunistic, outstanding big play defense. Bob Svenson's having a fine year, but this is one of the few really big plays he's had. This is a turnover. It turns the tide of a game that's very close with 12 minutes left to play. Their defense did it.
Denver's ball, Seattle's 45. The pitch is to Lytle. Lytle made a yard. They could have had him behind the line of scrimmage. Swenson, who has come up with one of those turnovers. They have been nagged, those 4 Denver linebackers, who many consider the best in one team in the National Football League. Jackson has been outstanding, but he hasn't made some of the big plays. Maybe he hasn't had the chances that he did last year. Gradishar's had a hip injury. Svenson's been hurt. But they've been tough today.
You create chances.
Right.
And that's what they've been doing in the last quarter.
Second down, 9. Denver leading. 11.5 to go. 3-point lead for the Broncos. Morton off to Keyworth. Keyworth stopped at the 41-yard line. He ran into Cornell Webster and Keith Thompson. It'll be third down and 6.
You know, Keith Thompson was their first draft choice, Kurt, and they expected to play him an awful lot in the secondary. However, he came up with a real bad hamstring pull. Hasn't been able to break into the lineup. They feel he's over that problem, and they're going to try and insert him when the time permits it. Right now, they're playing a 5-back defense with 2 linebackers, and time permits it.
Third and 6 on the 41-yard line of Seattle. Moses in motion. That's Preston. Preston squirts for the first down. Good run by Dave Preston, the rookie of Bowling Green. And Denver now has a chance to keep their march alive. Look at this, San Diego. Fouts just passed to Greg McCrary, 29 yards, 52 seconds remaining, and San Diego leads Oakland 24-23.
And the outcome of that game could dictate the standings after 9 games in this season. Obviously, Denver's getting the best of it right now. They can take an outright lead. However, if Seattle wins, it'll be a 3-way tie.
You saw Seattle last week. You wouldn't believe they could beat anybody.
Yep.
First down on the 30-yard line. And number 76, Tom Neville moved that time. Neville jumped, anticipating. He shakes his head. How can I do that? I've only been around 13 years.
Tom doesn't do it very often. Those offensive linemen have a very thankless job. The only time you really mention their name is when they get called for a penalty.
But he just threw a good block on that run to Preston, so
he's a good tackle.
False start, number 76 offense, first down.
There he goes. You can't even move your eyeballs in that situation, tackle to tackle. First down and 15. Denver on the Seattle 35. Denver ahead 17-14, and perhaps with a chance to take over sole leadership. Larry Canada's piled up at the 33-yard line.
It's curious to me whether or not them announcing the score down in Oakland with San Diego taking a 24-23 lead has an effect. I know it's pumped up the crowd. If the crowd can pump up the home team, I think the effect would be more in Seattle's favor.
Steve Niehaus leaves the game, and the 5th secondary back, Keith Thompson, comes in. Peter Cronin, an extra linebacker's in.
Listen to the crowd, pal.
Yeah, they're picking up now. They've been rather quiet. 2nd down, 13. Horton pegs. Moses is jarred loose, but that is a clean legal hit at him. 44 Harris, 22 Dave Brown going for the ball along with the receiver, and Morton got to hit himself when he let it go.
Real good defense because Denver dissected the weakness in the double zone. They got underneath the up man, Dave Brown. He comes underneath John Harris, making a real fine play from his free safety position. Moses really didn't have a very good chance at the ball.
Man, they earn their money when they curl in there, don't they?
That's right. Jack Christensen, I was talking to him before the game. He said, we have a lot of young kids that are really enthusiastic about playing. And he said, you know, that's what makes defensive secondaries. He said he likes his.
9 minutes, 7 seconds to play. 3rd down, 13 for the Broncos. Seattle's 33. And he was hit. As he let the ball go, they hit him in the arm. Steve Niehaus got to him. I believe he's the first player drafted by the Seattle organization.
Okay, what did that 5-yard penalty cost them? As we look at it now, it may have taken them out of field goal range. I think they're not even going to try one. 5 yards took them from 44 to 49. They're not even going to make an attempt at that. Let's take a look at Niehaus, the first man drafted by the Seahawks when their organization started. Good penetration on Morton, and that's the way it's going.
Bucky Dilts in punt formation. Again, Seattle's lining up with 10 men on the line of scrimmage, and there's the only man back, Crawford. They go back to block. He sort of bangs it around up there, and it is in the end zone for a touchback. Desperate measures trying to get that ball back out of the end zone. But they couldn't do it, so we'll return here to the Kingdome in Seattle with a score. Denver 17, Seattle 14.
We cooked something special for dinner.
About half the house.
Now what? We can't stay here.
Can the insurance help?
That takes time.
Allstate helps right away. Our first concern is to take care of you.
Here's an advance for food and a place to stay.
Allstate Homeowners Insurance takes care of the damage, and you.
Can we get a place with a kitchen?
Sure. But let's eat out tonight.
Help when you need it. That's Allstate.
And that's a promise from us, the good hands people.
When you want it cut out quick, our brand's the one to pick. You can trust AC.
Thanks, AC.
Spark plugs by AC. We help you pick up speed, and speed is what you need. You can trust AC.
Thanks, AC.
Spark plugs by AC. So when you want to go, we're the name to know. You can trust AC.
Thanks, AC.
Spark plugs by AC.
Thanks, AC.
Next Sunday, regional coverage of exciting NFL action. Telecasts include the Patriots versus the Bills, Cleveland at Houston, and the Jets versus the Broncos. Check local listings for the game in your area.